Mark Shepard here, and I want to welcome you to the very first episode, the very first sermon, the very first service of Healing Pastures, a modern musical monastery. And I want to just really quickly invite you to explore this idea with me. As a compulsive songwriter with a spiritual, rogue mystic leaning, I have been writing songs for over 45 years that I have continuously attempted to get out into the world. But some force, some purpose has kept that from happening until now, because I think I needed to put a number of things together. One is my music, the second is my spiritual journey, and the third is this mission I have to heal the land and to change people's minds about the way we grow our own food, to put growing our food and taking care of ourselves and our communities into a spiritual context that isn't quote-unquote religious, that is open to all ideas, all manifestations of spirit. And so today, as we approach Easter, today is Thursday, Maundy Thursday, tomorrow's Good Friday, 3 days later, we have Easter, and all the symbolism of resurrection, all the symbolism of death and rebirth and spring coming back to the Northern Hemisphere, where our culture has grown and where these ideas and metaphors have just insinuated themselves into the very genetic code of our cells. And so I want to share with you my idea. And the idea is a community eventually, when we're through the COVID-19 pandemic, eventually it'll be a group of people, a community who gather perhaps once a week, maybe on a Sunday, maybe on a Saturday night, to sing, to reflect on ideas and concepts and feelings and spiritual ideas that can help us to get through the next week. A community where we can care about each other, where we can work on healing our own wounds and our traumas and communicating honestly and lovingly with each other. And so in the same process, as a community, to rebuild soil, to support regenerative farmers, to train young people in actual practical skills from electric, plumbing, farming, food processing, conscious animal processing and butchering, to all kinds of ideas, alternative ideas that can help our communities to withstand any kind of future shock, any kind of future pandemics or economic downturns or any of that thing. So it's a community firmly based in the world, but not of the world. And I say community, it's at the moment myself and my father on a 3-acre parcel, which I am turning into a food forest, and I'm in the process of obtaining a lease on the land. The landowner that I'm talking to is in agreement with my kind of spiritual ideas in a non-attached way, and so I'm in the process of creating fencing and water systems on this property and beginning to add the kinds of animals to it and the processes to it that can regenerate the land and heal the land and provide really healthy food in an ethical and humane and a healthy way for the animals, for the land, and for the people. So without further ado, I'd like to start the service, and it starts off with a song, then I'll do a reflection, a meditation, whatever you call it, a sermon. I don't like the idea of sermon, but since people are familiar with it, it's where I talk and share ideas that hopefully can connect with you in a fresh way, in a new way, and reconnect you with ideas that perhaps can help you through your week. And then we'll finish up with another song and we'll be on our way. So that's it for this very first episode, very first service of Healing Pastures, a modern musical monastery. And my name is Mark Shepard. I will be your guide through this adventure of spirit. Enjoy. See you in the distance, my friend. You're a songbird on the wire. You're an actor dressed in grace. You're an early morning flyer. High above the ground, you cannot keep from singing. A brand new tune is found. It starts the world to ringing. This day is a lovely day, and it is yours for free. Light and darkness contend, and beauty represents the few. The sadness in folks' eyes surely need not be explained to you. But even captured and concealed, the song continues rising. Until it's finally revealed, there could be no compromising. This day is a lovely day, and it is yours for free. But even captured and concealed, the song continues rising. Until it's finally revealed, there can be no compromising. This day is a lovely day, and it is yours for free. Vision catches your breath, leaves you leaping and alive. Sparkling through a cloud, it's a new way to survive. And at last the fear is lost, and you stand there unbroken, giving no more thought to cost, for the truth has finally spoken. This day is a lovely day, attempt at what I'm calling a sermon. But the thing you have to understand is, this is not a church like other churches that you've ever been to. This is a church that is centered in reality. This is a church that realizes that people aren't perfect. This is a church that allows me as the minister to be myself rather than try to pretend to be someone who you'll all approve of. So, today is March 31st. We are approaching, it's Wednesday, we are approaching the whole Maundy, Thursday, Good Friday, Easter holiday, and I thought it would be a really good opportunity for me to push myself in spite of all the other things that I'm doing. I'm working on a song, I'm starting to do all my spring planting, I'm getting ready to host my first pigs. So the farm is really at a busy time, and the music's at a busy time. But this church has to happen because it all puts everything into context. And it gives me one place in my ADD world of music and farming and spirituality. It gives me one place where I can pull it all together in a way that seems to make the most sense for me, and hopefully can make the most sense for someone like you who actually might be interested in this. And I don't know when you're watching this. It could be many, many years from now. You could be watching this 100 years from now or 1,000 years from now. I don't know. But with my track history, very few people will watch it. And that's okay, because one of my practices is to really work on eliminating my self-importance and my attachment to the things being the way I think they should be, because that is not reality. So I want to start with a song, and this is the song that I'm literally working on today, and I want to begin the practice of incorporating my music into the farm and into the ministry of this idea. And really what's developing is a monastery. A monastery, in many shapes and forms, is a group of people, like-minded people, who come together to grow their own land, to support themselves on the land in a community, and to tie that community together with prayer and music. So it's really prayer, music, and action. So it's really a monastery, but it's a place where I can bring it all together. So this song is Field of Possibilities, and I started singing it in my head last weekend because I went to look at the field that I've been talking to a landowner about leasing for my farm. And so looking at the land and realizing this land, it's basically reverting back to forest, which is fine, but this land, this 40 or so acres, really brings a lot of things home. It brings a lot of things home because I grew up in Yorktown Heights, New York, and right across the street was 40 acres. That was part of the original Van Cortlandt land grant back in the 1700s. And Mrs. O'Rourke and her husband bought this property, I guess in the 1940s. And it had an old Dutch barn on it and a house with really wide boards. And, you know, post and beam construction. It was really beautiful. And she would invite us over occasionally, like a couple times a year, for a glass of sherry, you know, or apple juice. And I remember her husband had He was passed away, so I never met him, but there was a 4-string guitar, a tenor guitar, leaning against the corner, and I wanted to play it, but I didn't dare, And I think at one point Mrs. O'Rourke said, you can play it if you want. And it was horribly out of tune, so, but I wanted a guitar way back then. And we moved to Yorktown when it was the summer I was 4 that summer, I think. And I was going to turn 5 and going into kindergarten. So I would start kindergarten at age 4. And Mrs. O'Rourke made it very clear we were welcome to walk her fields. There were 3 large fields and the rest was all woods. And there was a lane that went down to an old well. And very shortly after starting school was miserable to me. I hated school. I tried to be sick any chance I could to get out of going to school. And Mrs. O'Rourke happened to be the reading teacher at my school. So I don't know if it was 1st or 2nd grade or 2nd and 3rd grade. It was somewhere in that realm, and probably younger when this story happened. And I would go across the street to Mrs. O'Rourke's house in the summers. There were some neighborhood kids and my sister and I, and we had butterfly nets and we would catch butterflies. And I wanted to have a butterfly collection because in those days, this was 1964. Oh God. In those days, you could catch a butterfly, you'd put it in a killing jar, which had some kind of lethal chemical in there that kids shouldn't be, playing with. But my dad was very clear, he was a chemist, and he was very clear that, it was dangerous and I was not to breathe it. So I would catch the butterflies and then put them in the killing jar, formaldehyde I think it was, there was a piece of cotton with formaldehyde in it. So you could take the lid off and put the butterfly in and close it really quickly. And that would kill the butterfly, hopefully painlessly. And I eventually, I started having a collection. I guess I had a jar for each different kind of butterfly. I didn't put them in a cigar box with the pin because I didn't know where to get a cigar box. And my dad didn't smoke cigars, although my grandfather did. So they were in jars, and I had these shelves that were behind the door of my bedroom. I remember distinctly they were painted orange because I like the color orange. But that may have been later, but I remember them as orange. And there was a kind of cubby behind the door, so you could have shelves there, but when the door was open you couldn't see it, but when the door was closed you could see the butterfly collection, and I would often look at my butterfly collection. And then one summer, whether I was 7 or 6 or 7 or 8, something like that, my mom, for some bizarre reason, invited my cousins Dennis and Paul to come stay with us for a week in the summer. And Dennis and Paul came, and they were into fishing, and everything they did kind of shocked me, and I was constantly feeling like I was way too sensitive to hang out with them, and that they kind of didn't like me for it, and as I look back with some of the experiences I've had lately with kids who are identified as Asperger's. I performed at a school a couple of summers ago near Boston, and it was all Asperger's kids. And if I were going to school today, I would be in that school because I just don't function well. Didn't then, had to learn how to do it over years. I didn't function well with other people. Too sensitive. That's what they always said, too sensitive. So my cousins came and I taught them how to play the butterfly game. We went out and we caught butterflies, and they each had their own little jar for the killing. But then a couple of days later, I went to look at my butterfly collection and it was gone. It was gone. And where did it go, Paul? Where did it go, Dennis? Oh, we don't know. We don't know where it went. What butterfly collection? Well, they had taken my butterfly collection and flushed it down the toilet because they wanted the jars for their butterfly collection. And so that brings me to the topic of our sermon, of our talk this week or this month or whenever you see it. And that is, no one gives a shit about your butterfly collection. Other people do not care necessarily about the things that you care about. And being hurt that other people don't get it or don't get you is a recipe for a painful life. And I know this from experience. So I write all these songs, and these songs are essentially a much bigger, much more important to me version of a butterfly collection. And other people don't quite get it. And I know there are people out there in the world who would get it, but this is music that has to be in a context. It has to be in a context of spirituality. It has to be in a context of real conversations about real things, about relationship, about our struggle, both male and female, men and women, dealing with our sexuality and where we fit in this culture, and how we approach getting our own needs met, how we approach the idea of, whether we're gay or straight or bi or some combination, or someone who's not into sex at all. Sex defines so much, and churches don't seem to be able to talk about that. And I want to create a place that not only honors my music, that not only honors the spirituality that I've been just, working deeply on for a lifetime. A spirituality that doesn't fit mainstream Protestant churches, certainly does not fit the evangelical churches, although my church will have really good music too, right? I want it to be a place where my music can make a difference, where my music can be in a context where other people can sing it, because a lot of these songs have hooks, they have choruses that when you sing them, they actually get stuck in your head and replace the negative self-talk that most of us walk around with. So these songs are deeply healing, and they're part of the spiritual practice, but they're also part of the mental health practice that has kept me from a life of anxiety and depression. And so that's got to be there too. I have to be able to be honest about the struggles that I've had and to share them hopefully in a way that you can relate to, so that perhaps you can find some hope or a tool or an idea or a spiritual concept or a sense of connection with other people like yourself who maybe don't fit in with the mainstream life, who maybe are a little different, who march to a different drummer or walk to a different drummer. And so I have 3 compulsions, 3 commandments from whatever it is that is bigger than me that I'm trying to serve. And one is, I must record my music. That is something I've been trying to do for years, something that every business I've started was with the aim of making enough money so I could record my music and then hire a team of people to help me get it out. So that's still happening. But step 1 is recording my music and creating a community of people who actually get the music and realize that, oh, this music could help me through my day. This music helps me to think about the big things I think about when I'm looking up at the stars. This music might be able to help me struggle with my loneliness or my heart that has been broken, or the anxiety I feel when I think about being in social situations, or the bullying I experienced as a kid. Those are all things that I can relate to and that I have worked on, that for a lot of them I've made major progress in healing in myself. And so number 1 is the music. Number 2 is I feel compelled to grow food. I feel better when I eat my own food. It's such a perfect companion to my music, and that after working kind of in the head and with the fingers and, just concentrating, then going outside and getting my hands in the dirt and dealing with living things that I am responsible for taking care of. That's beautiful. It works together. And the next step of that farm is animals. The greenhouse came online this winter. Animals are the next step. I'm starting with 3 little pigs, so I can tell stories with them and use them as illustrations for sermons and meditations. And I really love smoked pork shoulder, smoked pork. I've been smoking on the Weber grill. And so that works on what we call stacking. It's something I love to eat. It's something I want to explore. It's something that I like to cook. And I want to use the pigs as kind of the first group to go into kind of a wooded area where I'm talking to the landowner about possibly leasing. So there's a spot, and I'm putting the word out as well in my immediate neighborhood that, hey, I want to do pigs and sheep. And if you know anybody with some kind of brushy, overgrown property, I'd be interested in talking to them. So that's going. That has to happen. That I don't have a choice. It's a project that gets me up early in the morning and keeps me excited about being a transformational person in the world. And then to tie it all together, the spirituality, these songs are about spirit. The spirituality is all about working with the planet, the Christ in all things, working with nature, working with the energies of the universe in a way that is a healing force, not a destructive force. We humans are so destructive, and the way we grow food is one of the most destructive things we do to this beautiful planet. So in the resurrection, in the Good Friday, in the Maundy Thursday, there's a process of crisis and healing. There's in our lives, in our cellular memory, there is a process of crisis and healing. When the bison came through on the Great Plains, the grass went into crisis. The grass was being eaten. But because the wolves kept the bison moving, the bison moved on and the grass recovered. So there is a process in life of challenges that threaten us, challenges that seem to hurt us, challenges that cause us to either give up, give in, give out, or get going. And so to know that, what are we here for? For me to live every day musically, spiritually, agriculturally, doing the 3 things that I just love the most, that to me, I could do that for the next 45 years, and perhaps the first 45 years or the first 40 years in the desert have been preparation for the next 40 years, and I don't know what's ahead of me. We don't know what's ahead of us. But it seems to me I would rather fail gloriously and miserably at doing the things I love to do than worry that I might be made fun of, or that I might be criticized, or that nobody will listen, or nobody will be interested. That's a risk. And I don't know if it's going to turn out the way I'd want it to. So I need to be unattached to that. When I upload my music, in the past, I would get really depressed because so few people would look at the videos, so few people would leave comments. I'd get maybe 4 thumbs ups. And now I'm getting 10 thumbs ups and maybe 1 or 2 comments. So I have to be patient. And gardening and farming, with its long-term ideas, where if you plant a tree today, it's not going to bear fruit for many years. maybe, a shrub like a Nanking cherry. I planted them last year. I didn't get any cherries last year. So it's taking action with a long timeline, which we don't do in America. In America, there's such a short mindset, and our whole corporate world is about short returns. This quarter, not 10 years from now. And everything farming needs to be thinking 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, 100 years out. And to me, in order to do that, I have to be spiritually uplifted to go, okay, I may not see the benefit of my work. I may not live long enough to see this tree bear fruit, but I still have to plant it. I still have to take care of it. I still have to share it with whoever might be interested. So to bring this all around, to bring it back, Easter's coming. The man who they thought was the Messiah turned out to be human. And the powers that be didn't like the things he said about God being love, about healing people on the Sabbath. And so they arranged to have him killed on Good Friday. He took his death with courage. And he didn't shy away from it. He didn't try to get out of it. He went ahead with the call that his spirit was hearing from all that is, from his Father in heaven, from that which gives us life, whatever that is. And then the story goes that he rose on the third day. And the atheists have pointed out that there were dozens of religions that had that kind of resurrection, dozens of religions that had virgin births, dozens of ancient religions that coincided around the year with the solstice and the equinoxes. And that Christianity isn't unique and original, but the point that Christ was trying to make that the world couldn't take in was that God is love. Creation is a loving creation. Even though it's a predatory universe, it all works in ways that we don't always understand. And our job is to be stewards of this world, not destroyers of it. The kingdom is within. There's no heaven waiting for good little boys and girls. We can make this heaven when we resurrect the idea that we are part of nature, when we are joined with the force that created all that is around us, all that lives in us, the biome that is within us, which far outnumbers ourselves. There's something mysteriously magical and miraculous going on. And for me, my music and my growing food in accordance with nature's plan, mimicking nature as much as possible, helping nature where possible, using natural systems and understanding them or attempting to understand them, that's part of the spiritual practice, and I cannot help but sing about it. So today, just remember, no one gives a shit about our butterfly collection. People only care about themselves. But God made us that way. But if we can learn to care about ourselves in ways that support and encourage other people, if we can care for ourselves in ways that honor our creation, if we can care for ourselves in ways that give life to our ideas in a way that someone else might resonate with it and find value in it and want to share it, that's a worthy thing. And so that is what I'm dedicating my life to this Easter. If you're interested in joining me on this journey, give me a thumbs up, or subscribe, or leave a comment below, or check out my websites. All the details are below. What are those things? Links. All the links are below. And I will be back. This is a beginning. This is the beginning. And my cousins, I lost track of them. They were good kids. And they were excited about butterflies. And Mrs. O'Rourke, well, one day she said to my folks, how's Mark doing? And my folks were like, what do you mean, how's he doing? Well, he's in the nurse's office a lot. I thought maybe he was sick. Mrs. O'Rourke, the lady across the street with the 40 acres, her office, the reading office, was kind of shared a suite with the nurse's office. And I really liked the nurse's office because Mrs. Nelson, she was actually the mother of Peter Nelson, kid in my class. Mrs. Nelson seemed to understand me. And when I couldn't take it in class, when there was just too much stimulation and I just felt like I was losing it, I would ask to go to the nurse and I'd lie down for a little bit in the quiet. And then I could manage to go back and survive school. And after school, I would go, even in the winter and the fall, I'd go across the street, not capturing butterflies necessarily, but just I would walk there after school. I would walk through her fields. And there was a spot in the woods, kind of a glade. It was a little open, not a lot of underbrush. And there was a tree that had been struck by lightning or broken somehow, so that a part of it kind of bent over, and it was a bench, and you could kind of bounce on it. So I would go and sit there. What elementary school kid you know goes out alone into the woods and just sits there after school to try to recover from the pain of being around people who didn't get what he was all about? We identify these kids now and try to give them some support, but back then, you were just bullied. So I would go and sit there. And one day I saw a beautiful 10-point buck who was partly albino, which is a very unusual situation. He had almost like an Appaloosa rump, and he walked by, and because I was still, he never saw me. And I was filled with wonder at that. And then one day, sitting there, still and quiet, I saw a woodcock working the soil, the earth, and the forest for worms. And another time, those were real, but another time something spiritual happened to me, walking through the very same field where I caught those butterflies. I felt a presence walking beside me. It felt like a cat. It felt like something was walking along with me, but it wasn't against me. It was supporting me. And maybe around that time I started reading the C.S. Lewis books, and the metaphor for Christ is Aslan, the lion. This was more like a Black Panther. This was more like, which is a leopard actually. It's just a dark morph of the leopard family. I just felt it walking beside me. And something told me that it was there for me. And I don't know how to express this for you, but I want to take the energies that have been flowing through me all my life, that have made me feel like an outsider, like an outcast, like someone who doesn't belong. And I want to take the things I've learned and the things that are flowing through me that I feel compelled to share. And I need to share that with you, whether you are out there or not. I can only imagine who you might be, and I invite you in to this world of music and farming and spirituality. I come from a Christian background, so that's partly what makes me who I am. But I respect and invite anyone from any other background to share their spirituality in a way that makes sense to you. And so, I guess that's it for my first talk. And I don't know how long it is. Wow, 20 minutes. That's a good sermon length. So we're going to finish up with some songs. And let me know in the comments section what's working for you. I don't really want to know what's not working, because I'm not going to stop doing this, because this is what I have to do. And I'm looking for people who like this, not people who want something different. So does that make sense? So I want to leave you with this blessing. May you be who you truly long to be. May you receive something absolutely free. Today, look at the world around you. It's yours for free. It's been given to you. It's been given to you. It's such a gift. And the worst life is still a wondrous thing, a miracle. Every baby born, every child born is a miracle. And today, I would never encourage a kid to kill butterflies to study them. I would encourage a child to photograph butterflies. I would encourage a child to catch and release butterflies. And so all my life I've been catching songs. I've been catching songs with the strings of my guitar. And now it's time to release them. So this is my collection. This is the collection that I offer you, and I know full well that even though the world doesn't give a shit about your butterfly collection or my butterfly collection, if our collections can give something to the world that the world needs, that the world values, then by all means, we need to show our collections to each other, but without attachment, without expecting praise, without expecting any monetary reward, to do it because it's beautiful, because we love it, because we can't keep it to ourselves. And for me, that is what spirituality is. It is so beautiful, and I can't keep it to myself. I don't want to change you. I don't want to convert you to anything. I just want to share this joy of being alive on this planet, in this amazing time of challenges and opportunities, to be alive, to be alive. We are walking through a field of possibilities. Amen. And now I'd like to share with you a world premiere of my song, Field of Possibilities. Thanks so much for watching. Here we go. I am walking through a field. I am walking through a field. I am walking through a field of possibilities. I am walking through a field. I am walking through a field. I am walking through a field of possibilities. I am waltzing through the rain. I am waltzing through the rain. I am waltzing through the rain of possibilities. I am waltzing through the rain. I am waltzing through the rain. I am waltzing through the rain of possibilities. I believe in the wonders of the world. I believe in the wonders of the world. I believe in the wonders possibilities. When I'm empty, I am full. When I'm empty, I am full. When I'm empty, I am full of possibilities. I'm returning to the source. I'm returning to the source. I'm returning to the source of possibilities. I'm returning to the source. I'm returning to the source. I'm returning to the source of possibilities. I believe in the wonders of the world. 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 Through a field, I am walking through a field. I am walking through a field of possibilities. I am walking through a field. I am walking through a field. I am walking through a field of possibilities. I am walking through a field of possibilities. I am walking through a field of possibilities. So that was my first church service here in the virtual world of 2021 and the COVID-19 pandemic. It is a beautiful day. It's snowing here in the North Country, even though it's spring, even though we've had lots of warm weather. And that to me is a sign that no matter where we go, no matter who we are, no matter what we do, things change. And our job is to respond to the world creatively, resourcefully, and lovingly. Thank you so much for watching. And if you did like this, please leave a comment below. Please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel. If you just want the music, you can check out Mark Shepard songs on YouTube. If you just want the farming stuff, you can check out this channel, Healing Pastures Farm, on YouTube, and my website, healingpastureschurch.com, is where all of this kind of stuff will be, and then markshepherdsongs.com is where my life and song project will be. So thank you once again, and have a wonderful, wonderful day, a wonderful week, a wonderful month, a wonderful year, a wonderful life. Peace, grooviness. Amen.